Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is The Press. We're reaching you live from KAFTAN's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. As you already saw that we have what the sights and sound to what's going down in the inauguration site that's in Eagle Square this morning. We'll definitely bring you more of that as the day unfolds. But then let's come back to the studio as we have Obadiah Mbila, who is the CEO of Love Walk Media. It's great to have you on the show today again.
Thank you very much, and good morning, Nigeria.
It's good to have you on the program today.
Thank you, Frank.
Good.
Happy inauguration, Nigeria.
Happy new government to you.
Annabel, you said it earlier, as a Nigerian, happy inauguration.
Yeah.
And our guest today is already
a Nigerian, a typical Nigerian, happy about everything. All right, now since we're in that happy mood and happy state, let's talk about this inauguration as it is going down. Quite a lot of things to unbundle, but let's see how we can manage our time. And then you have the PTC. I was saying earlier that looks like it's a well-organized program where you have to pick people from the old parade ground, that you must be invited. Even if you're invited, you have to wait at the old parade ground, get picked up by a vehicle, and then taken converged to the Eagle Square, and then you have the delegates who are already sitting. Now, aside that, you also have it's going to be a new administration in a matter of minutes. Now we're having President Muhammadu Buhari leaving his office, and then you have the new president-elect, who will now be regarded as the 16th president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. 16th, yes, the 16th president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So in that regard, what are your thoughts? We'll definitely dissect some of the statements that were made by even the president-elect, his wife, and President Muhammadu Buhari. But let's start with how optimistic are you for this new wave, this new era?
Well, in terms of being optimistic, I am an optimistic human being. I never allow any room that would create doubt in me. But let's talk about the arrangement of movement from Old Parade Ground in Area 10 to Eagle Square. I can tell you that this is not the first time such arrangement was put in place. In the past, some political parties who crave for security around Eagle Square, don't forget that no vehicle is allowed to cross certain points, and those points, you can understand, are still about 2 kilometers or 3 to Eagle Square. So to eliminate vehicular movement around maybe 2-3 kilometers radius, there will not be permission for any vehicle whatsoever. Now the designated buses would convey VIPs, invitees, from certain point to certain point. So that arrangement is to make sure that the area is sanitized and that the protocol is strictly adhered to. So I give kudos to the organizers. They've just done the right thing to do. Now, talking about the inauguration, I would like many Nigerians to thumb up for our democracy.
Why so?
Now, you may be obedient or baptized as the division occurred during the election. I would like us to appreciate the fact that we have since left the electioneering and we are into inauguration. Yes, there are cases in the court challenging the process of the emergence of the 16th president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We would allow the court to handle that at their pace within the time frame provided for in the Electoral Act. So while that is going on, should Nigeria not rise up to the occasion and say, here we have come of age, we are no longer toddlers. This is the 7th time we are handing over from one president to the other. And during this period, we have witnessed a handover from one political party to another political party. Here, the 16th president is of the same party with the outgoing president. So it may not make so much news as that of 2015 when the
PDP handed over to
APC.
Okay.
So now it is APC handing over to APC. But one beautiful thing I want every Nigerian to bear in mind is a president is being inaugurated.
Okay, Mr. Obadiah. Now, you made mention of the fact that it's a beautiful thing that we are handing over from one administration to another. Now, you said this event has happened. This will be the 7th time. Unbroken. Now, let's look at beyond the handovers, beyond the transition of power from one administration to another. Let's look at the impact it has had on the lives of Nigerians. Quite a number of Nigerians are still wailing, and quite a number of Nigerians have posited that the situation we find ourselves in Nigeria right now are all products of what mistakes of the past. Now we cannot go back to the past at this point where we are now, and the inauguration is definitely certain to go on today. But then, what are your expectations for this incoming administration? Because I think if we go out to the street of Nigeria right now, I think there's a level of optimism among Nigerians, and personally, I've been seeing quite a number of even the articulated, the obedient, and the kwankwasias. I've been seeing quite a number of them moving from that place of from a place of animosity to a place of optimism for the incoming administration. But on a personal note, what are your projections for this new administration?
Let's put it this way. Governance and leadership in Nigeria has it met with people's aspiration. Everyone knows that the answer is no. But we are in a process that has to witness ups and downs. And sometimes we are in the valley. At the other time, we're on top of the mountain. Over half of our life as a nation was used to experiment military rule. The authoritarianism that goes with military rule became a type of culture in our leadership delivery. We began to see as normal dictatorship. People thought that that is the best way to go, whereas it is the residuals of the military hangover that came into our democratic experiment. Now, this has been hanging on ever since we began this new dispensation in 1999. The first president that came was a military head of state. And you can understand that he only employed the style he knows best. Even when his handlers will remind him that, oh, look, here we use dialogue, we don't regiment. It wasn't easy for him to adapt, but he finished his 8 years and handed over. That crux of leadership that took the mantle of politics immediately after the Abdul Salami Abubakar are still the ones that are running our political parties. They're still the ones that are nominating those we are going to elect. They're still influencing the political process that throws up anyone that is going to contest election. At primary elections, they are still the ones that are influencing who is elected and who is not elected.
Are they the kingmakers?
Yes, they are the kingmakers. Very well. So they still employ that regimental process, not dialogue. We have not learned the art of building consensus, which is what one expected. Now, there is something I want to say, and it's very remarkable. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a consummate politician. He's learned the skill of politicking, horse trading. He understands how to handle backstabbing, stabbing, which is very common among politicians. He understands how to go back to an old enemy and make them friends, and how to drop a friend that is not serving the purpose of friendship for a new one. About last week, some tongues were wagging how he cornered Kwapanso far away in Paris, and they reached a deal. That's what I expect of a politician. Try to know how to weather through the storms. So this makes me think that, look, there may be something good that is coming with a seasoned politician like Ahmed Bola Tinubu. The fear of
Did you say may?
Eh?
Did you say there may be something good?
Yes.
But there's a may to it.
Come again?
You added a may to it. Does it mean that you're not
probability?
Okay, no, I cannot hold brief for Mr. He's still president-elect. Yes, in a few hours now, we'll now have a president. I can't hold brief for him. Nor can I hold brief for any other person. Yeah, but I do know that when I look at a track record, I'll be able to make up what I expect of him.
All right. Now, I'm going to ask you a tripartite question, and I'd like you to unbundle them in one breath.
Yeah.
Taking a cue from all that happened yesterday during the pre-inauguration service, church service, and what some statements that were made by both President Muhammadu Buhari previously, and then you have the wife of the president-elect, Remi Tinubu, and then even the president-elect himself. But before I continue, viewers, our phones and lines are open, so you can call in to make your contributions. Now, starting from President Muhammadu Buhari, he stated that I think I still found it in some of the papers where he stated that he cannot, reiterated that he cannot wait to return back to his farms, and how managing cattle seem more easier than managing human beings, Nigerians especially. Now, what are your thoughts in that regard? That's one of the statements he made, and then he also apologized for some of the policies, the economic policies that he rolled out that actually brought forth sufferings and penury in the lives of Nigerians. So my question in that regard is, why are we always at this stage of we are sorry for what we did? Because you also have some governors who made that apologetic statement. So why do we always come to this table of apologizing? Didn't they say better safe than sorry? That's one on the side, because a lot of people died during that cash crunch. A lot of people lost their lives or their properties. Now that's one on the side. Coming to the president-elect, he made a statement saying that president he said he's going back to Daura, and then he stated that no matter how short a man is, he can always still see the skies. So he's going to, President Muhammadu Buhari should be expecting him to always knock at his door to ask him how he can get help in terms of what he needs. But there's some Nigerians, like Chief Edwin Clark, will say that President Muhammadu Buhari is the worst president ever. So for President-elect to go to him and ask him for help or solutions, what are your thoughts in that regard? That's secondly. And on the other side, Senator Remi Tinubu said that her family she said, and quote, her family will not need the wealth of Nigeria. They do not need, that's the word. They do not need the wealth of Nigerians to survive. They only need it to propagate, help Nigerians, and then on all that they need to do. But then on the flip side, you have Serap asking the president-elect to declare their assets. So now, taking all of this in queue, what are your responses?
Let me begin by addressing President Muhammadu Buhari. You know, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. President Buhari might be a good man. President Buhari might be a man of character. President Buhari might be a good farmer. But certainly, he's not a visionary leader. And because he is not cut out for that role, therefore, he is bound to fail the expectation of people who thought of seeing a vision with him. So sad to say this. I'm not aligning with Edwin Clark, Chief, but I'm a Nigerian. I have lived these 8 years under Buhari, losing my mental health.
Oh, wow.
Losing the strength of my wallet, becoming helpless and helpless in the face of the reality that were confronting me on account of weak leadership under President Muhammadu Buhari. Should I accept his apology? Of course, do I have any choice than to accept his apology, to love him and continue to pray for him? But Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari, you didn't treat Nigerians well. You didn't unite us. You didn't serve us with table where we can find food. As you go back to Daura, I know you know very well how to handle cattle than how to handle human being. Therefore, I wish you a successful cattle handling. And never advise any other cattle handler to try the presidency of Federal Republic of Nigeria, because you cannot use the skill of handling cattle to handle human beings. That is exactly what we have suffered under President Muhammadu Buhari. The skill of cattle rearer for a job of human manager. 200 million
Nigerians. Annabel, it's been just like you've said it for the obtained time today that it's looking like a very violent Monday, and it's
before you sorry to call you are not done with you've talked about President Muhammadu Buhari. You also have President-elect, his statements going back to him, and then Senator Remi Tinubu saying that they do not need Nigerians.
I want to rule out Senator Remi Tinubu is a parliamentarian. He's a distinguished senator of the Federal Republic. And let me use the parliamentary parlance for once. I want to rule her out of order. If they don't need the Nigerian world, let the president rule from Babylon, Lagos, because even the Aso Villa, where they are going to live, is part of Nigeria's world. The president uses the best of aircraft Nigeria can afford. Let them go back to Babylon and use their own and operate from there. It is at that point we will know that they don't need Nigerian world. Anyway, maybe she was trying to reveal to us how wealthy they are, and they are very wealthy. But certainly, anyone coming to occupy the office of the president, the office of the vice president, first lady of the Federal Republic, is already using the wealth of the nation. So we've had billionaires who made similar
statements.
Yeah, you know, didn't Trump indicated that he had so much, and he has so much that he doesn't need the wealth of Americans, but he still use the American aircraft, and then you know, the children too. So distinguished Senator Remi Tinubu, congratulations, First Lady, you need Nigerian wealth.
Okay.
That's it.
So okay, the other statement made by the president.
The President Ahmed Bola Tinubu said something about going to Dawa. Well, you know, like as I keep telling us here, you don't break governance. You only change button. And if President Buhari, the outgoing president, is returning to Daura, he must assure the president-elect that every Council of State meeting, he will be there. Because it is at the Council of State meeting that every issue that pertains the nation and requires the contribution of past president are brought to the table so that they can participate in the dialogue and finally come with a resolution. So there is no running, no hiding place for a former president. And what the president-elect was just saying is how it is. It simply means sometimes there will be reference to what happened in the past. So the president that is sitting on that seat will still need his input.
But then some people, sorry I have to butt in, some people will say that maybe that reference you talked about could be, okay, what happened with XYZ budgets that you signed into law? What happened to this? What you have to come and make some explanation. Is that what you see to
Not really. You see, in governance, the side that is open to the public is well managed. There are other sides that are secret, so to speak. Secret. So you need to sound the president's view. Okay, let me just give you this. What if Bola Tinubu, you know, becomes the president today, and he decide to throw away bills like Ruga, bills that President Buhari is very passionate about, or even go as far as saying that he's going to release Nnamdi Kanu. You know, that would be a direct confrontation.
Okay.
So before a good president, a good leader, will take such drastic decision, he need to parley with his predecessor, and give him his own side of the conversation why he preferred to do it this way. So from time to time there should be rubbing of mind between the former president and the new president.
All right, now you've talked about from time to time there should be rubbing of mind between the former president and the new president. But then at the end of the day, we need to look forward to the future and be optimistic about it. Now, in few hours' time, President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu will assume the office of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And looking at the wailings of Nigerians, looking at the hopes of Nigeria, Asiwaju is coming with, has told Nigerians that he's coming with a renewed hope for Nigerians. But right now, a journey of 1,000 miles will start with a step. What should be the first step of this new administration that will be led by Bola Tinubu right now.
All right, before you go ahead, let's quickly take this call. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, beautiful morning to you, Annabel, Francis, good morning.
Good morning to you.
And Obadiah, good morning.
Good morning, friend.
From Lagos.
Good morning, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Let me appreciate you quickly, Elder Obadiah. I always appreciate your response when it comes to analysis of this nature. Thank you very much, and I wish you
Thank you, brother.
let me quickly respond to the issue of inauguration. You see, like Elder Obadiah made mention, the electioneering have come and gone. Now, the inauguration is on a process. Within some minutes now, His Excellency Bola Tinubu will not be called President-elect, will be called President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, with the hidden title of the GCON, which is a very good credit. Remember, the whole African continent are looking up to Nigeria, including the Northern Africa. Believe in me, Nigeria has a big role to play when it comes to African nations. And ever since we begin this election, believe in me, things are not okay in the whole African continent. Until now, we are open and free that the president-elect, inshallah, already will do pretty well to the whole continent, not only Nigeria, because the whole continent are looking after us. I could remember when always I'm going about democratic issue, I always quote from the American political scientist Larry Diamond. And let me quickly quote from what he said. There is something he calls 4 key elements of democracy. And number one, he says, a political system for choosing and replacing the government through free and fair election. That's number one. Secondly, he says the active, that's the word emphasis, active participation of the people as citizens in political and civic life. And number three, he said protection of the human rights of all citizens. This is a very big one. And the last one, oh my God, I don't know. The last one skipped my mind. I don't want to cut it wrong, but let me quickly see if I can. The last one, he said rule of law. Rule of law in which the law and procedure apply equally to all citizens.
Okay.
Aswadu Ahmad Bola Tinubu needs to do a lot in uniting the country, irrespective of their religious pride and political affiliation. This is expected from Aswadu Ahmad Bola Tinubu. And thank you very much. Time will not permit me to go into details, and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, SOG from Lagos. Always have very good analysis. All right, let's go ahead.
I think he has managed to handle that president-elect's analysis, because I was going to say that, look, this country is so divided and the animosity is so tense, and hate is brewing and growing. So under that type of atmosphere, there will be eruption of violence unless the healing process begins immediately. So I expect first the president-elect to admit, like 2007 President Yaradua, who said, look, the process that brought me as a president is not transparent. Therefore, the first thing we have to do is that we want to look into our election processes and the institution that produces that manages the election, that is INEC. And that's how the Ways Committee was brought to place. And he immediately was showing every commitment and dedication to implementing the result of the committee, the committee's report. Similarly, I expect Asiwaju to know and to declare that the process that brought me as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the process is checkered by not obeying court
orders.
The judiciary appears to be threatened. So they are no longer very firm to deliver judgment that is sound, judgment that has human face, judgment that is not bought, that is not purchased by the highest bidder. So I expect Asiwaju to say, look, we must strengthen all our democratic institutions, the INEC, the judiciary, and the National Assembly. We must create independence for the legislature, not only at the federal level, but also down at the state level, so that we can begin to say we are practicing democracy. And very, very important, there is a toga that the Bola Tinubu presidency has been wearing ever since he took Shetima as his running mate. It was seen as a Muslim ticket. Okay. It was seen as a religious affair. It was seen as tilting towards one religion, favoring one religion. So if you must face the challenge that is before you as a president, know it that you need to douse the fear of the other religion.
So don't you think that's the reason why they now decided to put all of that and make amendments through the 10th National Assembly? Because that's what they keep saying, that we've made the mistake.
Such deliberate steps need to be taken. I use the word deliberate. The administration of President Bola Tinubu must deliberately accede certain offices to those people that would protest Muslim ticket. He must deliberately ensure inclusiveness to those who think that the presidency was coming to erase them, to suppress them. He must. It is at that point that he will now bring those people that were pessimistic about his presidency to appreciate the fact that they don't have any choice but to embrace and support.
So do you see this happening, especially in service chiefs, in ministries, departments, agencies?
That is the challenge before him. If he chooses to go that way, good for him, good for his administration, stability for governance. That is the best way to go. You don't deliberately create more enemies from the side that has always looked at you as the enemy. Rather, you need to give them olive branches that assures them that, look, we are not here to crush you down.
But you recall that he also extended the olive branch at some point.
No, at the point of electioneering, it's a different ballgame.
Okay.
Now the gavel is in his hand.
Okay.
If he says, Francis, leave KAFTAN television, you are now my media aide. I hope such offer will come to you.
Are you looking forward to such offer?
I'm looking forward to such offer.
So he has the yam, as they say in my place, and he has the knife. So at the time when he was making that olive branch, so many people thought that it was going to be Obi's presidency. So what he was offering meant nothing to them.
It was only political at that time.
So you need to change.
All right, I think we should just leave the presidency and the presidential inauguration and move over to other stories. Here on the Vanguard newspaper, says, okay, Nigeria Air Group drags Sirika to EFCC. I also saw another headline. I'm trying to look for it, but I can't find it. I'm sure I'm going to find it later on as we... okay, that's on Daily Sun. Says national carriers jetliner flew in as Nigeria Air, returned with passengers as Ethiopian Airlines. That's coming from a particular source, and the AON says that it is grand deceit. I listened to one of the spokesperson from the airlines, and then he stated how much this is just audio air and not Nigeria air, and then talked about how much it is just deceit, so they're going to take the minister to court and all of that. And then I saw a particular post on social media that showed the Nigeria Air, but then had the number of Ethiopian Airlines, and some people were asking, was that a mistake? Was it an oversight or something? So what are your thoughts with regards to this fast, how we were just quick to send out Nigeria Air, even though we've been optimistic about it?
And why they left it this late?
Well, you see, the Buhari administration, unfortunately, is living, and one impression that you cannot take away from Nigerians is that the Buhari administration didn't perform well in all the ministry, department and agencies. The story is the same. Now, how did Saraki started talking about floating Nigeria in the first tenure of Buhari, and he continued talking about it into second year, third year of Buhari, giving strong promises, giving strong words, collecting money from National Assembly, putting it to wherever, I can't tell. But you cannot always deceive Nigerians. If he has not aroused the curiosity of Nigerians, if he has not touched the ego of Nigerians by promising them, look, your country is going to fly on the air. And people were like, yeah, let's become proud for once, having our own airline. People were looking forward. If he didn't promise, if he didn't go to National Assembly to collect money, if he didn't raise our curiosity, when is it going to come? Is it not becoming late? Maybe this exit brouhaha he concocted wouldn't have come in the first place.
All right, our time is fast spent. Thank you so much, Obadiah Mbila. It's always a pleasure having these discussions with you every Monday morning.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, that's where we end this program. Thank you so much for tuning in. To all those who called in, we appreciate your calls. It's still inauguration, and like I said, we're bringing you all that is happening right there in Eagle Square. My name is Annabel Orji. Good morning.
And I am Francis Adeniyi. Do also have a beautiful day ahead.